Greetings and welcome to part 2 of the procrastination module. When you find yourself in distorted thinking, you should do the following steps. Step 1. Identify that you are engaging in distorted thinking. Notice that you are not taking the situation for what it is, and you're instead twisting things to fit a self-destructive narrative. Step 2. Examine the evidence. Instead of assuming your negative thoughts are true, examine the factual evidence supporting that assumption. For example, are you really the worst student ever if you need to withdraw from one class but you're passing all of your other classes? Examine the evidence for what your thoughts are. Are they really true? Step 3. Parent or friend yourself. Parent or friend yourself by being kind to yourself. How would you soothe your child or a friend if they were in a similar situation? Don't you deserve that same treatment? Step 4. Reframe. Rather than focusing on how poorly you did on an exam, note that the exam was a partial success. You answered some of the questions correctly, and you learned the format of the exam as well as what topics you don't understand. Use that information to do better on the next exam. Step 5. Define the terms that you are using to identify yourself. If you have been calling yourself a quote-unquote idiot, for example, what is the definition of an idiot? After defining that for yourself, are you really an idiot? Finally, step 6. Assess and redirect. Ask yourself, what went wrong in this situation? Did I not dedicate enough time to studying? Did I not understand the material? Where in the test did I go wrong? Redirect or plan what you will do differently. What actions can I take so that this situation doesn't happen again? Now that you're a master at battling distorted thinking, how do you finally get that procrastination habit under control? First, create a complete list of what you need to do. A great place to start is with your syllabi, work schedule, appointment, and extracurricular activities. I know. This can be very overwhelming, but if you don't know what you need to do, then how will you get it done, right? So start off by listing everything you need to get done. If an assignment or task has a deadline, be sure to list that deadline next to the task or assignment. Next, create 3 categories. What needs to get done or at least started today, what needs to get started or done this week, and what items can be started later. And realize that you can define what later means, whether that's next week, next month, or so on. Second, choose a project to start and break the project down into smaller tasks. Most assignments will fall into the category of tests or papers, so here's an example of how you would break down each. Let's say you have a biology test coming up. You would start off by A, compiling your notes. To do this, you will compile your reading and class notes into one master notes document. B, review your notes and identify any areas you're unsure about. C, visit your professor during office hours to clarify concepts. D, create flashcards, mind maps, or additional study materials as needed to study. E, study in the way that suits you best. F, take your test. Remember to get a good night's rest the night before and eat a nutritious meal before the exam. Now let's say you're working on a research paper. You may consider breaking the task down by brainstorming, researching, reading your research, outlining, drafting, revising, and then finishing the paper. Third, create an internal timetable or deadline. While the project is due on a specific date, what dates do you want to complete the smaller tasks by? Now hold yourself accountable to that timetable. If you want to complete a paper by the 30th, for example, perhaps you would research on the 4th, read your research on the 5th, outline your paper on the 7th, write your paper on the 9th and 10th, revise it on the 12th and 13th, and be done long before the paper is due. Fourth, many struggle with getting started. To counteract that, start with the task you like the best. Doing what you enjoy will make you happy while making sure you start the project. Once you've started the project and you're in the middle of it, you're much less likely to start something else or walk away. Once you've completed that chunk, you'll be well on your way to completing that task, which will make you feel even happier. Here are a few additional notes. Clear your workstation of all distractions, so no phone, no internet if it's not required for your assignments, no TV or music if that's a distraction for you. Then, make sure you have all the necessary supplies for the task so you're not wasting time getting up multiple times and not completing the assignment. Also, make sure you're consistently battling falling into distorted thinking. That brings us to the end of the procrastination module. Thanks for watching.
Created using Powtoon.